Hey there, what's going on? Pete Moriarty here. Hello everyone. Let me bring my mic down just a little bit. Welcome to this stream, another Q&A for Google Workspace. If you're new here, we help businesses systemize, organize, and scale with Google Workspace and a bunch of other technology tools. And we're here to help you get the most out of your business technology. So if you're watching the live, hello. I'm doing an impromptu one today just so I can answer some questions because our questions are piling up. But if you're watching the restream, you can always drop a comment below and say hello. I try to get to as many comments as I can. And if you're watching the live, please say hello. You can ask me questions live if you want. I don't think we're going to do any live calls today, but we'll certainly see how we go. Let's fix that camera. That's a little bit better. Maybe even bring it a little bit closer. Let's get intimate. And yeah, we're ready to rock and roll. If you want to ask a question, super easy. Go to ask.itgenius.com. And you can drop a question in and it's going to show up in my question queue here. And you can even vote for the questions that you want to have answered and I'll answer as many as possible. Yeah, if you're on the live, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. If not, if you're catching the replay, that's cool as well. Let me know, let me know where you're at. And we've got customers and audience all over the world, which is pretty cool. If you want to learn anything with Google Workspace, if you want to get it working better for you and your business, lots of stuff all over the channel, and I'm here to help you with your business journey. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in and start answering some questions. So Leonard asks, I want to set up Google Groups for my team to work collaboratively on emails. I know how to set it up, but how do we use collaborative inboxes? Do we need to access emails at group.google.com, or can members access them from their personal inboxes? Because where will there be a notification? So there's two different places to access emails if you are using a collaborative group or if you want to access emails. One way is to actually use the groups service. And so for that, you would use a distribution list, but effectively you still set it up in a Google group. So you go to your admin panel, you go to the groups service, you configure a group. That group can have multiple people inside that group. And then you can choose who has access, who can read, who can access and respond to the messages, and all of that is available from the group's interface. I'm going to show you what that looks like, and then I'll show you the second method for a collaborative inbox as well. So the first thing you want to do is head along to your admin panel. That's admin.google.com. Of course, it'll ask you to sign in again. Thank you, Google. And then once we're in, we're going to go to our directory and then groups. And this is where we configure what's known as a distribution list, but is effectively a group email. Now, I've got one here that's probably a good example, which is our feedback group. So if customers are not having a great experience, they can email feedback@itgenius.com, and that goes to a few key people in the business, myself, our CEO, Scott, and one of our operational executives, Red. So the three of us are members of this group, and the group email is feedback@itgenius.com. Now, effectively, that becomes a group email address. Now, importantly, if you want to set up a group like this, you need to allow people outside your company to send emails to that email, right? So if that was info at or sales at or some other kind of shared mailbox inside your business, to set that up, you would first go to the groups service. You would create a group. You put what you want in there. So I'll say test feedback. Let me get that in there. Now I generally tick the security button to make any group able to be used as a security group. Doesn't really matter in this instance. But here we have the group permissions. Important, who can post to the group. That basically controls whether or not people can email this email address from external accounts. So you definitely want to make sure that that is ticked to external because that means that people can email that external email address and the responses are going to come into the group. So you've got some other options here, and I've got other videos on setting up groups on what the different options do. You don't necessarily need members from outside your organization because that just controls who can see the group. you just need to have who can post, make sure that's open to external. And then I typically lock down groups to only invited users, so I can control who gets access to that. But then once the group is actually set up, if you go to groups.google.com, it'll show you all the different groups that you're a part of. Now, some of these are going to be security-only groups, but you will be able to see the new group that you just created. Now, I'm going to show my production feedback group here. Just got to be careful that I don't actually expose any customer information there. Cool. Okay, I'm going to just hide some of the screen here. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to open a spam email. Let me check here. Okay, there's some names in here, but there's no email addresses, so no personal information. So here's what the group service looks like. You'll see a list of different conversations, which are emails that are coming in. And you'll see, obviously, if they're in the queue, that basically means active and able for someone to respond. And I'm going to open up a spam email here. And this spam email has come in. And basically, I've got the option here to reply. Now, I can reply to author, which is going to just reply to that person. Or I can choose to reply to all, which is going to reply. And it's also going to give me a email alert out to everybody else who is a member of this mailbox, right? So this is one way. This is one way of managing your emails. Google Groups gives you this interface to manage it. I can reply here. Everyone can see my replies. I can star a conversation. If I star a conversation, then it's going to sit in the starred folder. I can mark them as spam if I want. I can effectively, do some basic triage of emails here. Now, you're limited to the features of the Google Groups service. To my knowledge, because I don't use this, I don't think there is a labeling feature. I can certainly, mark it as spam. I can assign it to someone if I want. There's an assigning button here. But it doesn't have all the same features of using an actual Google mailbox. And I mentioned using a Google mailbox because that's the second method of sharing an email address with multiple people. So the second method is called the delegation method. And for the delegation method, you actually need to pay an additional license for an extra mailbox. So we create an additional discrete mailbox, and again, we'll do that in the admin panel. So in that case, we're going to go to back to our directory. We're going to go to users. We're going to add a new user, and this is going to be our shared mailbox. So maybe it's feedback, maybe it's orders, maybe it's info at, whatever, it doesn't really matter. We're going to create this mailbox. And we're going to do something called mailbox delegation. Now, I'm not going to set that one up from absolute scratch. I'm going to allow you to rely on some other videos on the channel because we've got a whole bunch of videos on how to set up the delegation. If you head to our channel and you hit that search button and you search delegation, I've got lots of videos. There's some videos on actual delegation, but there's also mailbox. Maybe search mailbox delegation. Check out our channel for the videos on mailbox delegation, and that'll show you all the bits and pieces of how to set that up. But I want to show you what it looks like at the end once you've configured it. So I've got my mailbox here. This is my Peter Moriarty mailbox. You can see all my emails sitting in my inbox here. And if I decide that I want to access a mailbox that's been shared with me, in this case, it would be the group email address or the shared email address. I can just click on my profile picture and it will show me any delegated mailboxes. And this is where you will have either a support mailbox, orders at, info at, or something that you want to share with multiple people. So I'm going to open up the admin mailbox here. And that's showing me, looks like a lot of emails in the inbox here. But that is the shared mailbox that I have access to. Now, this one operates more like Gmail. So if I open an email here, I can choose to move this into a label if I want. If I wanted to, assign this to someone, I could assign it to a person using a label for assigning. If I respond to this, it's going to look exactly the same for the customer. They're going to get an email back from the email address that they sent an email to. So whether you're using the groups method or you're using this delegated mailbox method, the customer experience is going to look pretty much the same. The only thing that's different is the cost and the features. The delegated mailbox method, which is this one, you need to pay for a license because this is consuming a mailbox. The group method doesn't consume a license because it's using a distribution list. So some advantages and disadvantages there. Now, there is a bonus third option, and that would be to add third-party software. We're partners with Hiver, and Hiver will connect to your mailbox and give you an overlay on top of a shared mailbox. So you've got to use the mailbox method, not the distribution method. But what Hiver does is it allows you to do things like delegation to a person, so you can assign an email to a person. But it also lets you do things like customer service and satisfaction, so customers can give you a rating on what their experience is like. You can have SLAs, or basically guaranteed response times, and you'll get reporting on those response times. You get reporting on how happy your customers are, reporting on how quickly your staff are responding, reporting on how many issues your team have, how many hours it takes to resolve a customer query, and that all sits over the top of your Gmail inbox. So that would be an additional commercial option if you were interested in something else. We happen to sell Hiver as well. So if you're interested in getting some help from our team, then our team will happily help with that. If you're interested, just click the link down below this video and you'll get access to a consultation with our team, or you can even do a systems health check if you want a health check on your whole Google Workspace account and small business technology. That was a great question. Thanks very much for that. Now, just to finally make sure we've got it covered off, can members access these from this personal link? Yeah, I think we've pretty much covered that to the extent it needs to be covered. And thanks to the people that voted for that question, by the way, because that brings it up to the top, and that's really useful. Okay, Anonymous asks, what's a super administrator account, and is it different than an administrator account? That's a good question. So when you sign up for Google Workspace, the first user that you create, which is probably going to be your account, will be the super administrator account. Sometimes someone will create an account with a fresh Google Workspace account and they will just call it admin@mybusiness.com, and that's the super administrator account. And then when they create their own email address, that becomes the second account. Now, sometimes people forget that they created the first account and then they create an account with their name second, and they use the account with their name for the next 5 years. And they forget that there's actually a super administrator account in the background with a different name. But I'm going to assume that's not you. Now, in the administrator panel, you'll see a list of all of your users. So if you log into the admin panel, admin.google.com, and you go to your directory and then to users, you'll see all the users in your account. And you'll see that some of these users are administrators. Now, is this going to show me in this panel if they're administrators or not? I'm not sure. Let me see. If I've got view options. There used to be a way to change the columns here, but I don't know if it's going to show it to me anymore. Custom attributes. No, that's not the one. Okay, I've got a feeling I've got to log in. I click through to each person, and then it will show me. Yeah, it's going to show, okay, roles. Fair enough. So we have a set of permissions for users, and there is, I guess, a hierarchy of permissions. So there's a standard user that has just the basic login, right? And they have no permissions above, just being a user account. That's just called a standard user. Then we have a series of different administrator roles. Different administrator roles may attach certain privileges to that user account. So let's look at some examples of that. We'll go into the admin panel, and God, I haven't done this in a long time. Where are my user roles? You know what? The easiest thing to do is usually to search. Admin roles. Okay, so admin roles are stored under account. So if you go to account and then admin roles, here we go. You can see there's a number of different roles that are here. Effectively, anything above a standard user account is an administrator role of some sort. Now, they come with different names. A groups admin will be able to administer groups. A services admin will be able to switch on and off different services. A user admin will be able to reset people's passwords, add and remove users, and these have individual profiles of privileges that you can switch on and switch off, but I'm going to try and keep this simple for now. You can see here that you can get really granular with this if you want to. Now, the only difference between these and the super administrator role is that the super admin role is a special role designated to users, which effectively has every single permission now, but importantly, also in the future as well. So if Google adds any additional privileges, the super administrator is just always going to have every single permission right across the account. Now, what is possible when you sign up for a Google account is you may have signed up for the super administrator account and given a few other people super administrator accounts as well. Maybe you've got business partners, or maybe a life partner if you're in business with your spouse. You may have made them a super admin as well. And so most people will have one or two super administrators in the business in active use. Now, that's not best practice. Best practice is to have a second super administrator account that you only use when you need to do administrator actions in your account. And your user account, if you're the business owner, should only be used for the privileges that you need it for on a day-to-day basis. Now, I would say, okay, maybe give yourself a user administrator privilege. So at least you can reset people's passwords without having to log into a different account. But switching on and off licenses, changing account settings, changing policies, changing storage, switching on and off any of the services or security settings, all of those, my recommendation would be to have in a second super administrator account so that, God forbid, somebody gets access to your account, they don't automatically have access to the whole house. If you're using your account in production, it's not a great idea for that to be a super administrator account, because that can mean that your account is exposed to risk. But coming back to this person's question, super administrator is the umbrella for the most privileged user who has access to every single feature inside of a Workspace account. The administrator account is effectively any other user that's been given privileges above the basic user. The administrator is a profile applied to a user. It's not necessarily a separate and discrete account. Any user can have administrator privileges. They're just user roles or privilege roles that get added to a user account. So great question there. Thanks for asking that one, Anonymous. All right, I'm going to check if there's anyone on the live stream to say hello to us. I always love saying hello. So if you're watching the live, please make sure you say hi. Let me see if I can enter my studio here and see if we got any commenters. Oh, and of course it's sign me out as it does sometimes. Let me try that again. Just love when that happens. Today I'm coming to you from Vietnam. I'm in Da Nang, which is pretty cool. Been here for a couple of months. Been a great time. Okay, I don't know why, but I can't see our comments. So I'm just going to trust that if you're commenting on the YouTube, that I'm going to see it on the live chat. Oh, hello from Georgia, Logan. Hello, welcome. My family's Armenian. We're just across the border from Georgia, and I'm actually curious to visit Georgia. I haven't been yet, but I would love to go. Apparently, there's a great motorsport park outside of Tbilisi, and I've got a friend that's in a motorsport who's there, who does a bit of rally and that kind of thing. So, welcome. I'd love to come and visit Georgia sometime. Okay, let's move on to our next question. My team want me to get through as many of these as possible because we're banking up. Anonymous asks, I have a client who's using Google Business on a Plus account, but his team members are only using Business Starter account. If he'll be sharing the shared file, could the team members access the shared folder and can edit or comment on the document? Okay, this is a bit, the English is a bit tough on this one. His team members are only using Business Starter. Okay, so this is odd because if you have a small business, you can't have some users on a plus plan and other users on business starter. You need to have a minimum of 30, 40, 50 users to do what's called split billing. And I've covered that in other videos on the channel. You can search split billing if you're interested in that. But if you are accessing a file and it's shared in Google Drive, you can pretty much share it with anyone. As long as you have access to a file, you can share it to a Gmail account that's personal. You can share it to a Google Workspace individual account. I can't remember the name of those these days. You can share it to a Workspace business or enterprise account. Doesn't matter what account it is. If it's in Google Drive, you can share it. You can even switch on link sharing. So if someone's outside of the Google ecosystem, they can access the file as well just by clicking the URL and opening it in a browser. So yeah, that's fine. If you have a shared folder, you can share that shared folder with anybody as well, as long as they have a Google address. So folders need to be shared with a Gmail account, or they can be shared with another Google Workspace account. If someone has a Microsoft account, unfortunately, you can't share folders. So you'll need to get a Gmail account to share a folder with them. Individual documents you can share via a URL. Folders you need to share to someone's email address, and it's got to be in the Google ecosystem. Okay, but yeah, that's a great question. Effectively, once you've got a business plan and you have a shared folder set up in Drive, you can share it wherever you like. Let's go to our next question. Nicole asks, I stopped receiving mail on Gmail, already checked the Workspace subscription and domain renewal. That's good. I checked MX Toolbox and an X appears on DMARC and DNS. Help. Okay, well, I don't know when this was submitted, Nicole. Probably can't help right now. But if you've gone through all our troubleshooting videos, if your emails are down, you've gone through all our troubleshooting videos and it's just not working anymore, I would recommend you have a chat to our team. We've got an amazing professional support team. You can head along to our website and click on the quick fix button. And during business hours, you can get access to instant IT support. People sometimes don't know how instant it is. Literally, the team are on live chat and they'll start fixing your problem immediately. So it's very affordable. You just click the button, get started. If you want to just triple check things with the team before you get started, you can just click on the. It says bot, but it's actually got real people behind it. You can go ahead and chat to the team and say, "Hey, here's my problem." And then you can purchase a quick fix, check out online, and then the team will jump on and get started with you immediately. So that's an instant tech support service, and that gets you access to our support team. If your DNS is dead or your emails are not working, that's a great place to go. Cool. Another one here. What do you do when there's no DMARC record found? Well, you need to set up a DMARC record. Now, this is technical. Again, this is another DNS related one. If you've got any issues relating to mail delivery or DNS, we've got a great guide here. Just go ahead and search DNS. And you want to look for the one that's 30 minutes long, wherever that is. Let's see if I can find. Here we go. Yeah, so 27 minutes long. That video is a full training from start to finish on getting your DNS settings set up correctly, and I include DMARC in that training. So if you're interested in fixing anything to do with emails not going through, that would be the first place to start. Okay. Patrick asks, what about mail? I've transitioned my entire property management company to be remote and I'm working from home. I need a solution to receive mail. Do you have any virtual mailbox recommendations? Good question. This is going to be highly dependent on where you are. I don't have any particular recommendations because we're primarily based in Australia, although we do have customers everywhere. And we do have a few international entities for our international business, but yeah, it would really depend on where you are. I don't have a recommendation for the US, sorry, because we have a private arrangement for our business registrations there. But if you Google virtual mailbox and do the millennial thing, check the reviews, ask some friends who might be doing it. Sorry, I can't help you in this instance. But yeah, that's kind of like the last mile usually in getting your whole business remote. There's some weird things that happen though when you scale up. If you're a remote business, we've got to do board meetings for one of my entities in Hong Kong, and I the restrictions or the the requirements of companies in Hong Kong say that someone has to do a board meeting from there. But what if you're not there physically? We operate the business out of there, but I travel pretty much full time, and my business partner is not there either. So we have people arrange a board meeting, and we dial in. We have to dial into the board meeting. Same thing in Sydney. Like, our business is set up in Sydney, but our team are in the Philippines. Or most of our team. So yeah, funny new world we're in when it comes to corporate governance and remote businesses. Okay, so next, anonymous. Can they see any other browser activity? If you sign into Chrome, which is a work account, but then have another browser open like Safari, would someone be able to see what you're doing or any activity? I get these questions every single week. Someone is, I think, either pretending not to work or doing something on the side, and they're wondering if their boss can see what's going on their computer. Technically, to answer this one, technically no. If someone is just connected, if you just have a Chrome profile connected to Google Workspace, Google can't see outside of that Chrome profile. The only way that someone would see into your machine, I'm assuming this is a personally owned machine, would be if you have a endpoint management application, so like a desktop monitoring application installed. And that would be if someone like us is doing IT support and they need to remotely access the computer. That would be how they'd connect to that. Okay, cool. Quick question there. Anonymous, how do you add an admin for a specific OU? That is an excellent question. I don't know if that's possible. Let me Google it. Add admin for specific OU workspace. Create an admin role for an organizational unit. Oh, it might be available. Great question. Okay. Wow, there we go. Okay, this is available. So let me talk you through it. Let's talk about why you might want to do this, and then we'll talk about the how. So let's say you're a medium-sized organization and you have people who you want to start helping out with administering different areas of your IT. As the business grows, sometimes you'll outsource some things to a partner like itGenius. We're a managed service provider. We can do a lot of your administration for you when it comes to Google Workspace. But sometimes you want to handle things internally. Perhaps you have a small IT team. Maybe you have someone who is responsible for the user administration of your Google Workspace account, so onboarding and offboarding staff. That might be an HR manager or an office manager or an operations manager. Maybe you have someone who's responsible for field staff and you want them to be able to onboard new devices for your field crew, but you don't necessarily want them to have access to the whole of your Google Workspace account. Well, there is an option using the Google Workspace OUs or organizational units to create an admin for a specific organizational unit. And this is useful if, for example, you want to give someone the ability to reset people's passwords inside the business, but maybe not reset the password of a super administrator account, or maybe not reset the password of directors in the business. You only want to give people access to the least amount of privileges possible. It's called least privilege principle. The least amount of privileges that they need to get their work done and nothing more. And so if you say, okay, well, this HR manager or this operations manager only needs to reset the passwords for general staff members, I don't want them resetting the passwords of directors, you would use this method. So the instructions here are pretty straightforward in the help guide. You're going to assign a, where is it? We're going to set up an administrator permission, a privileged administrator permission, and you're going to do that through roles. So if we go to our admin console, you're going to create a new role, and you'll set the permissions that you want for that role. After you've set the permissions for that role, what does the help guide say? Here we go. As we assign the role, actually, we don't even need to create a default. We don't even need to create a custom role. Once we let's go and add. We just need to add it to the user. So we're going to go to our directory. We're going to go to users. We're going to choose the user that we want to give specific access to a particular role. And we're going to add admin roles and privileges. And in this example, I'm going to give this person licenses management. And I want to give them the condition. Oh, I can't do that one for only specific roles. Let's say, for example, I want to give this person the user management position. Let's say, for example, I want to give this person the user management permission. I can choose what specific organizational unit I want to apply it to. There we go. I'm going to hit save, and then it's going to apply it just to that organizational unit. There we go. Cool. Great question. Sorry, I'm a bit shonky on the demo there. I never done that one before. I didn't even know that was possible. That's a great one. Okay, great question. And what that's going to do is that's going to give your team access to just that specific area that they need to manage. And for those with growing businesses that want to keep their security managed to only what people need to do, this is a great option. Great question. All right. Farah asks, can my employees see my search incognito in G Suite? No. No, they can't. No one can see your incognito history or searches. Google doesn't save that in the browser, therefore it's not going to be saved into Google Workspace. I'm assuming they're asking, what is the cost of migration consultation from Gmail to Outlook? I don't know. I assume they want to go from Google back to Outlook. We can do that for you. Have a chat to our team. If you're a sole operator, we have very affordable services. Otherwise, our pricing is available by booking a consultation with our team, and will soon just be public on the website. We're building some pages and making all the pricing transparent soon. Cool. Question regarding access controls. Can you restrict someone who's part of a Google shared drive from accessing a particular folder or file within the shared drive? I think they just released this feature. Let me see. Let's go into my folders here. Sharing. Can I block someone? I don't know about that. Let's try Googling it. Drive, block from folder. I thought let's try restrict. Guess that's why someone's asking me. Here we go. Restrict access to specific folders within a shared drive. I was sure they just released this. Maybe not. Maybe it's not yet released. I was sure they just announced it. Maybe not. Not yet. I know you can share a certain folder, but perhaps not block a certain folder. Okay, I think this is going to have to be my last question. It's time to wrap this one up. I'm unable to receive or send email. Recently created a Google Business account with own domain. Okay, check our videos on that. We've got a million videos on that. I can actually hear some background noise going on. Someone's drilling in the apartment next to me. So that's good timing to wrap things up. Thanks so much for joining. If you are not yet a part of the itGenius community, please head along to our website. Jump onto some of the free training that we've got on there. Oh, geez. Our site seems to be giving me real trouble at the moment. Let's try training. See if I can go directly to the... No. Something about my browser is giving us real trouble on the site. Anyway, but if you're a small business owner, itGenius is the best way for you to get support with Google Workspace. You can access our instant IT support through buying a quick fix. Cloud Concierge is the ultimate all-you-can-eat IT service for Google Workspace and many other applications that we support. We do consulting, we do support, we do engineering for all of these. And if you're interested in getting a VA for your business who can do technical things on all these different apps and effectively give you insurance for anything you need in the IT world at the stroke of an email or a phone call or a Google Meet. We've got an amazing team. And as you can see, we've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of 5-star reviews, nearly 500 5-star reviews there now from all of our amazing customers all over the world. Our primary hours are Asia Pacific and the Americas. We are opening Europe eventually. We're getting there with that. We don't have a timeline yet, but it's getting there. And so, if you're interested in getting help from our team, then please reach out. Next up, if you want to jump on, we have free training for many different areas of Google Workspace. So if you're a new Google admin and you want to check out some of the things that you should know or you could know about Google Workspace, go and do our Admin Basics course. That's a really important one. Small Business Security Essentials is there. That's a course on helping you make sure you've got all the basics right with your security. We've got a remote team course. That's a very popular one on high-performing remote teams, bringing everyone together, sharing with you all of our tips of the trade. We've been a remote team for more than 10 years. Before COVID happened, we were already remote for 6 years, so we got lots of tips there. And Slackers to Stars is another one on using tech tools to get your team working well. Go ahead and check out the training. That's all free. You just go to our website, pop in your email, and you've got free training courses there on Google Workspace and more. If you'd like me to answer questions in the future, head to ask.itgenius.com. Ask.itgenius.com, and you can ask any question that you have. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Please share this with a business owner that you think it might be useful for. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks for joining. Cheers.